27 years. That's how long it took for the BJP to romp back to power, and they made sure that the choice of chief minister, choice of cabinet and the swearing-in ceremony made a statement strong enough to redeem the 27 years of Agyatwas from power that they had suffered. Lakhs of supporters were at the Ramlila Maidan today for the ceremony, with the entire gamut of BJP chief ministers, MPs, union ministers and alliance partners participating in an obvious show of strength.
मैं रेखा गुप्ता ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगी। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगी। मैं मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगी।
But of course, the biggest statement was made by the lady on your screen, Rekha Gupta, a first-time MLA, somebody who has earlier been a corporator and had lost the past two elections that she contested to the Legislative Assembly of Delhi. And yet, this first-time MLA was made Chief Minister. Other than the obvious nod to the strong and decisive woman voter of Delhi, not just here, but across the country, there are other factors at play as well for Rekha Gupta becoming the Chief Minister. She's from the Bania community like Arvind Kejriwal, also originally belongs to Haryana, just like him. The BJP also wants to burnish its Mahila Shakti credentials, making her the fifth lady CM from the party after Sushma Swaraj, Anandiben Patel, Vasundhara Raje and Uma Bharti. All the prominent parties in cosmopolitan Delhi, remember, have given one lady CM in the form of Sheila Dikshit from the Congress and Atishi from the Aam Aadmi Party. But the BJP now has a leg up over its competitors after sending not just one but two women CMs from its stable. First, it was Sushma Swaraj and now it is Rekha Gupta. At present, Rekha Gupta is the only other woman CM in our country after Mamta Banerjee in West Bengal. But the statement is not limited to her alone. Remember, there are a total of 7 ministers, including the CM in Delhi, 10% of the total number of seats in Delhi. So, there are 6 other ministers who join her in her cabinet, and each one of them has a very specific factor at play. Rekha Gupta is from the trader community. Pravesh Sahib Singh Verma, on the other hand, is a Jat leader. Kapil Mishra is from the Brahmin community. Manjinder Singh Sirsa is a representative of the Sikh community. Ashish Sood is a Punjabi. Ravinder Indraraj Singh is a Dalit face of the cabinet. He comes from a reserved constituency. And Pankaj Kumar Singh represents the upper caste Thakurs and, more importantly, the Purvanchalis. Even Kapil Mishra is a Purvanchali. Why has the BJP chosen each of these people? Because this time it was a very complex calculation of how these communities voted for the party. And many of these communities were believed to be strong and loyal supporters of the Aam Aadmi Party. So let's start with the second biggest face of this cabinet, Pravesh Sahib Singh Verma. He was earlier a BJP MLA from Mehrauli. Then he was elected to the Lok Sabha. He's a 2-time MP from West Delhi. A giant slayer who this time around in the assembly elections defeated Arvind Kejriwal from the New Delhi seat with a margin of over 4,000 votes. He, of course, belongs to the Jat community. His father was also Chief Minister, Sahib Singh Verma. And the Jats rewarded the BJP. 45% of them voted for the Bharatiya Janata Party, according to the CSDS post-poll survey. However, the Axis My India survey shows that 63% of Jats in Delhi voted for the BJP. And that naturally meant handsome rewards. Out of the 13 seats in Delhi where Jats have a considerable influence, the BJP won 11. Now let's talk about Kapil Mishra, the man who's had some administrative experience. After all, he's been a minister earlier, but not for the BJP. He was a minister in the Aam Aadmi Party government with Arvind Kejriwal was the chief minister. He's won from Karawal Nagar this time with a margin of 23,355 votes. He is the sole member of the BJP who's had prior government experience. In 2019, he joined the BJP. He at that time said Arvind Kejriwal is corrupt. He is a Brahmin and he also belongs to Purvanchal. It's important to note that the upper castes form the highest voting bloc in Delhi. Voters constitute anywhere between 25 to 40%, and Brahmins have the lion's share among the upper castes at 13%. As per the CSDS survey, the Brahmins also overwhelmingly voted for the BJP with 66% vote going to the Saffron Party. Axis My India has the same numbers. 66% Brahmin vote going to the BJP, and that meant that the party swept across all seats, 11 Brahmin stronghold seats. Now, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, he's also an import. He was earlier with the Akali Dal. He won from Rajouri Garden by over 18,000 votes margin. He's BJP's entry point into the Sikh community in Delhi. A national secretary in the party, he's also president of the Delhi Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee and has been a vocal critic of Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, especially on the issue of the liquor scam. By elevating Sirsa now into the cabinet, the BJP is planning to set the stage for a larger battle against the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab in 2027. Interestingly, it's the Congress in Punjab which is questioning why, other than the Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann, there are no prominent, there are no big Sikh faces in the politics of Aam Aadmi Party and in the cabinet there. The CSDS survey shows that the BJP and the AAP this time had an equal share among the Sikh voters. 43% went to the BJP, 45% to the Aam Aadmi Party. However, this is a huge jump for the BJP because in 2020, almost 70% of the Sikh votes had sided with the Aam Aadmi Party. In absolute numbers, out of the 4 seats in Delhi which have more than 10% Sikh voters, the BJP won 3. And these include crucial constituencies like Harinagar, Rajouri Garden, from where Sirsa himself comes, and Tilak Nagar. Now let's talk about Ashish Sood. He is a Punjabi. Punjabi and Banyas, by the way, in the earlier politics of the Bharatiya Janata Party, before the emergence of the Aam Aadmi Party, were the core voters, traders, Punjabis, refugee colonies. These were the core voters of the BJP. Then AAP decided to chip away at the BJP strongholds. However, this time around, they have returned. The Punjabi voters have returned. Ashish Sood, for one, secured a win in these assembly elections with a margin of 19,000 votes. The 59-year-old won from Janakpuri. He was earlier the leader of the House of South Delhi Municipal Corporation. The BJP got 67% of the Punjabi vote this time around, according to CSDS. More than half of the Punjabis voted for the BJP, and it's a huge return, like I said, from what the AAP had earlier managed to do. In the Axis survey also, 46% Punjabis went with the BJP. Aam Aadmi Party got 45%, but 13% was the increase of the Punjabi vote in favor of the BJP. 23 out of 28 so-called Punjabi seats went to the BJP this time around. But a very important name that we are going to talk about now is Ravinder Indraj Singh. He also is a first-time MLA. He won from Bhavana. He is the Dalit face in the cabinet, got a huge win with a margin of over 31,000 votes. He was elected from Bhavana, is a national executive member of the BJP's SC Morcha. There are a total of 12 reserved seats in Delhi, and for the first time in history, out of these 12, the BJP managed to get 4. In 2020, Aam Aadmi Party had swept all the 12 reserved seats. So naturally, this community, the Dalit community, had to find representation. As per the CSDS poll, Dalit, who are Aam Aadmi Party's integral vote bank, 53% of them, yes, this time also, they voted for the Aam Aadmi Party, but the BJP managed to get 41%, and like I said, 4 out of the 12 reserved seats. Incidentally, one of them is the one that Ravinder Indraraj Singh won, Bhavana. As per Axis My India survey, 51% of the SC vote went to Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP got 39%. It's reflected in the results as well. Now let's talk about Pankaj Kumar Singh. He won from the Vikaspuri constituency in southwest Delhi by 12,876 margin. He represents the upper caste Thakurs, but most importantly, he represents the Purvanchali community. Now, who are the Purvanchalis? Now, remember, Delhi is a melting pot. Earlier, it was said to be a Punjabi city, but now Purvanchalis, people from eastern UP and Bihar, have a huge sway in the area. For example, you've got Manoj Tiwari, one of the MPs. He's also a Purvanchali. In fact, the BJP had deployed over 100 leaders from UP and Bihar to campaign in these seats, which have a sizable chunk of Purvanchali voters. All 4 of the BJP's Purvanchali faces won their race, and in total the party won 10 of the 14 Purvanchal-dominated seats. Now, Purvanchalis are nearly 2/3 of the voters in the national capital, and the messaging is clear that the communities who have backed the BJP will find representation in the cabinet as well. It's not just going to be a one-way street. If people have rewarded you with a mandate, the people will also find a voice in government.